Hi, good afternoon here from Los Angeles. Valerie Milano, the senior editor of the Hollywood Times, and I'm going to go around the Zoom room here and everybody's going to introduce themselves. Thank you, everybody.
I guess I'll get started. My name is Bella Barkow. I am one of the two new owners of the Dinah Shore Festival, and I'm also a local Los Angeles event producer working both in nightlife festivals and Hollywood premiere events. So,
Excellent.
My name is Rose Garcia. I'm also the co-owner of the Dinah, living in Los Angeles, selling tons of real estate, and excited to bring the Dinah to you guys 2026.
Excellent. And I'm Terry Kinney. I am a reporter with the Hollywood Times and also an event producer in Los Angeles.
Excellent. Thank you. So we'll get going here. All right, Terry, go for it.
Okay, I'll jump in. Congratulations, you two, on your new acquisition, the Dinah, which is a big institution in our queer community. I started going when I was a baby queer back in the 90s. So it was associated with the Dinah Shore Golf Tournament. And this was kind of a sidebar, which grew into its own thing. And I've been through a couple different iterations of it. So I'm already a big fan. So congratulations. Now, it is because of the length of it and because of how important it is to our community. It really is an institution. So how much of that history will you respect, and what part, without going into details because I want to do that later with Valerie, but what percentage are you forward looking?
I would say Bella and I've had, extensive conversations even before we decided to pursue this together as a team, because we were pursuing it not separately. She was, going after it, and so was I. And we decided to join forces, and we kind of have the same ideology that what Mariah created, 35 years of success, is unheard of in any community, any business, any realm. So it's kind of one of those things where we don't really necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to take the baton and continue what she's created. And, I don't want to say modernize it, but Bella and I have sort of want to zhuzh it up a little bit. And, for today's younger audience, we have a lot of legacy attendees. But I did notice this past year when I got on the mic and said, is this your first time? How many are first timers? Probably around 60 to 70% of the audience raised their hands. So that is showing you that Mariah, was doing something right here and sort of resonating with the younger audience. But Bella and I want to, sort of do a happy median of bringing in the legacy attendees along with the newer attendees, the newer folks, the younger folks, and just sort of do a combination of everything. And that comes down to programming and production, which Bella's an expert at. That's what we've been working on together as a team.
yeah, to add to Rose's point, it's really important, I think, with what your question touches on, Terry, is the importance of the women and the queer persons and the LGBTQ community that came before us, that made it possible for someone like me to come out at 13, because to live with my cats. I'm so sorry.
I love it. That was perfect.
It really highlights the importance of those that have come before us, that have allowed someone like me to come out at the age of 13, to feel confident in myself. I grew up in Toronto, and I hear stories about people who grew up in, smaller communities, middle America, who just don't feel safe being themselves. And I want them to enjoy the same experience I had, which is probably the same experience a lot of women describe coming to the Dinah in the early 90s, which is, I came to this place, I felt like home, I felt safe. And so that only continues if we honor those that came before us and continue to save this safe space for those that come next.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for that. I have respect for that. I wanted to let our readers and viewers know that you do have a history with the event, each of you, and I think that it's a very, very nice partnership. Rose, you were the MC for years of the whole event, and so you bring the spirit of it. Bella, you are an excellent production manager in large productions, and full disclosure, Bella has worked with me on my larger events, Terry Kinney events, and she's really only headed up the biggest ones, the ones that I can't handle by myself, and she's just excellent. So I know the festival is in good hands, but that partnership, which you already had, now that you're working together, can you tell us, when the deal closed, how what were those feelings together? Were you excited, scared, feared? Yeah, let us in on those.
I think what a lot of people don't know, Bella, you can attest to this. We were working on this for 3 months before the deal closed.
Yeah.
Bella and I had already had a relationship, a personal relationship, but also a professional relationship, because we would cross each other in a lot of these events. And to be honest, when I thought about this, I'm like, there's no one, absolutely no one that I could have taken this on with if it wasn't for Bella. Like, she is, Terry, this firsthand, insanely just smart and brilliant and just the hardest worker. I've never found anybody that can work at my level and my speed. And Bella gives me a run for my money. I mean, she is just, there's not much else more I can say, but I'm very, very, very lucky to have her as a partner in this, and would not have pursued the Dinah. So when we got the news, Bella and I was initially shocked. I'm going to be honest, because there were other folks that were going after this thing.
There was a lot of competition.
We had heard through the grapevine, and I'll tell a story now that this is done, because both Bella and I were working the Dinah 2025. I'm doing my hosting duties. Bella is doing every duty. She's like mini Mariah, right? Running the front, running the back, running the stage, running the employees, just all over the place. And there was a particular person who had told my partner, "Oh, I'm the new owner." And I was like, "Oh, wait, what?" And then I called Bella and I was like, "I don't think we got this thing."
My heart broke. I was devastated when I thought those.
We didn't know. We were thinking we were out, and this was like in the middle of the festival, and we still have to do our thing here. This is breaking news. No one knows this story.
Okay.
And we were just kind of like, let's just see what happens, and let's just keep one foot in front of the other. And then Mariah's like, "No, guys, I haven't made a decision. I'm not making one till after my vacation, and I kind of go through everything, and I don't know who it's going to be, and I'll let you guys know, but no one knows yet. I don't even know yet." And so we gave each other a hug, and we're like, let's just see what happens, and Godspeed. If it's ours, and we'll move forward. And when we got the news, I think we were honestly, genuinely, really shocked. And then we went into work mode. I don't know how to explain it, right, Bella? We just got in and started wanting to perfect this thing and get to work.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of work, but I think Rose said it perfectly when she said, we both have the same kind of drive and energy, and late night phone calls discussing, how we can make this a more inclusive and accepting space for everyone. And we've really focused on that. The other thing, Rose made a great comment speaking to someone the other day, where she said we're like a
lesbian mullet.
A lesbian mullet. Business in the front, party in the back. We got Rose here that can, talk to the people, very friendly, very approachable, not one of those kind of lesbians or reality people who's, you're like, oh, I can't talk to them in public. Like, everyone feels like they're, they can be friends with her. And I think that's so wonderful. And me, I get to hide behind my computer and do my work, which Terry knows I much prefer not to be on camera.
Right.
This is difficult for me. So we are a strong team in that way. And also, kudos to Mariah. I don't know how she did this alone. There's two of us, and
we keep saying that.
It's a lot, but it's worth it.
Every Friday we have a work day in my office where we kind of just get through things and power through things, aside from the million phone calls, million Zooms throughout the week. And it just keeps going through my mind. Mariah, how did you do this? It's incredible
what she did.
Yeah.
And we do too. And it's for the community. At the end of the day, all this work, it's going to pay off in the culmination of this, what Mariah used to call a 5-day utopia for, the community.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since we're talking about Mariah, I just want to interject, Terry, excuse me. I believe that what you're talking about, Rose, when you said when Mariah was on vacation, I believe I was on that vacation. I think it was an Olivia cruise in Greece. If I'm not mistaken, so I was there.
That's correct.
We actually talked about it a little bit. So that's a really funny story, ladies, with the interjection of the person saying that they were going to own it and they didn't. So congratulations again. If Mariah Hansen were watching the...
Oh, you went on mute, I think.
You're on mute.
Flicked it right
Ask
there.
the question
If
again.
Mariah Hansen were watching the next edition from the sidelines, what would make her proud?
I'll let Bella answer this, but just for the record, we finagled and wrangled her to stay on as a consultant. So she does have her finger on the pulse on what we're doing. We've deferred to her many times for advisement, for guidance, and she's been so amazing in her quote unquote retirement to step in and help us and guide us to make sure that we're doing the right things, that we're implementing the right programs, and, with certain ideas that we come up with. She's been really instrumental in helping Bella and I in navigating the transfer of ownership to make sure that we keep Dinah's original integrity intact.
Yeah. I think some of the stuff she'd be proud to see are things that, she's always wanted and she wanted to move forward on, but was unable to due to time constraints, being a single person owner. Things like creating more activations for the sober and the non-partying crowd, creating more things that are more integrative into sports and connection. Some of the things I started implementing when I was managing the front of house team was a team-wide training for how to address people, respecting pronouns and things like that. So just continuing to implement that, to making sure that our team is respective of all persons, regardless of whether they're partiers or not, what the color of their skin is, what their gender or sexual identity is. It's important that people feel like they can be a part of this thing. Just don't be a-holes.
But like Bella said, we're planning on bringing in past activations and or creating new activations. Like one thing we're really tinkering with that we're proud of is to do like a solo and singles sort of like meet and greet type of thing, because we get so many people and DM'd and would message us and not only show up at the event by themselves. And when they would send these direct messages on social media, I would tell them, come by yourself because you're going to leave with thousands of new friends. And that's kind of the Dinah energy, and it's always been. And Bella can tell you, I would even tell folks at the pool, if you travel by yourself, come to the pool, come to the front of the pool. We'd give them free drinks, or we'd say, so and so, where are you from, and kind of just make them feel like they're a part of this amazing event. Because we have folks traveling, like Bella mentioned, from back in the day, it used to be all over the world, but still all over the country. And, we do get a lot of solo travelers that in their communities, they don't have that freedom to be able to express themselves or have a safe space to attend with their peers. And we provide that space. So we want everyone to feel like they're a part of the Dinah.
Without prying into confidential details, was the purchase a full acquisition, including trademark, brand assets, and mailing list, or more of a partnership structure?
It was a full acquisition. Luckily, both Bella and I have a personal and business relationship with Mariah. So it kind of feels, instead of it being such a sterile business transaction, it was like your family member or best friend handing something over to you and saying, take care of this, and I'm here for you if you need me.
Yeah.
With a broker involved.
With a broker. There was definitely a financial cost involved. I'm not afraid to say that I invested my retirement because I do believe in this. We're not going to say how much, but it's because I think we both believe in the project. But Mariah also believed in us, and so there was support on her part to stay on to do some consulting. And I think in that sense, it really worked out that we had such a long-standing relationship with her.
It did. I think
it was a price and support from her.
It really did make a difference. I do business dealings all day, and this was, although it was business, the way it was handled was, it's Mariah. This is her baby. And she wanted to pass it on to people that she knew would keep it going for decades and decades. And I think, we're extremely honored that she felt that we had the capability to do that. And we were open enough to say, hey, you know what? This is still yours. You created this. If you have something to, some input to give us, some direction, an opinion, by all means. That holds a lot of weight because, this is your baby still. We're just taking care of her.
Yeah. Do you see a strategy to broaden the age range, perhaps bringing in more Gen X while still honoring the women who have supported the festival for decades?
Yes, Bella has created an amazing marketing team and structure to be able to, we had endless talks about this, and the sort of plan that we have is to bring in a lot of the Gen Z folks, but also honor our legacy, folks that have been coming for 20, 30, 40, 50, 30 years plus. We had someone that attended, it was interesting. She was 74 and she came back, hadn't gone to Dinah in many, many years, and came back because she thought it was the last one ever. And came back to the Dinah and said, oh, this is where I would come in my heyday. And I'm like, it's still your heyday. Come back next year. We were saying 2027 because that's what we thought it was going to be, but now it's 2026. But Bella, I think you can share the marketing positioning that we're doing.
Yeah, we are sort of using a two style. We're sort of using two different ways to get a wider audience. You know, the one is through marketing, as Rose mentioned, and the other is through activations and production that we find is more open to a wider audience. So we haven't confirmed it yet, but we would like to bring comedy back. We think, again, doing the solos, doing more activations that are for a different variety and different type of person. I think because, you know, our community is so vibrant and so extensive, and who you love doesn't define, it's not a personality trait. You know, who you love is not who you are. And so it's important that we allow all these people who, you know, traditionally women loving women and non-binary and queers to come into this place and not be simply defined by you all love the same type of person, so therefore we're going to give you the same type of music and the same type of experience. You know, you can find the people you're attracted to are also attracted to the same, and then at the same time have a plethora of things to choose from and do.
Ooh, so interesting.
Yeah, so we're tapping into a lot of like she mentioned. We're also bringing back a lot of relationships with other promotional teams and clubs. Back in the day, you know, Mariah would have a lot of club partnerships throughout the country and throughout the world, honestly, Canada and UK and other places. And we're going to reactivate a lot of those relationships.
Guerrilla marketing.
Yeah,
You know,
and in
really
turn, bring in a lot of the younger demographic through that channel.
Good. We like to push your comfort zone. So I want to ask, even though
Too late.
It is a music festival, and I just want to know, our readers want to know who will be headlining this.
We're working on that right now. That's something Bella and I are working on. One thing we did agree on. We agree on everything. I'm going to tell you that right now. I have the best partner ever. But we do want to continue Mariah's legacy on bringing in big names, up and coming names that end up, you know, like she had Doechii on twice, you know, young Doechii when Doechii was coming up the ranks. And then the year before, Doechii wins a Grammy for Best New Artist. I mean, Mariah just had that knack for doing, you know, same thing with Lizzo, you know, all these big acts. And Bella's very well connected as well through her production relationships. And, you know, so between both of us, we have a lot of connections to be able to get some big names in. So we're expecting to hopefully do the same for 2026.
We obviously can't tell you who we've contacted. What we can say is that we are going for bigger name marquee artists, because we think it's very important to come out with a splash to focus on female and queer identified persons and non-binary performers.
Good.
And a bunch of performers that are allies. You know, she's had, you know, Crystal Waters, she's had Meghan Trainor, you know, Lady Gaga, who ended up
there with,
you know,
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, and then she came just to hang out. Remember when she came to the pool just to like hang out, which was incredible. But you know, Mariah had a knack for really an insane talent for just knowing who to put on that stage. You know, it was just incredible. And I think Bella and I have a little bit of that, so we can carry on the tradition of bringing in some amazing people.
Good. Well, when you're ready to break the news, we'll be here for your first.
We will definitely let you know.
Are you asking for the scoop on that one?
The scoop first.
The breaking news.
Yeah. What else, Valerie?
I think we're good, unless you have anything, Terry. Thank you again, ladies, for your time. I know you're super busy as well.
We're excited to see you both there this year.
Yeah. How can they find out more about you ladies? Social media, your website, what?
So they can follow the Dinah.com, the website. That's where all the breaking news is going to be, along with our Instagram. And then we do have our own personal Instagram. So we're kind of incorporating everything into the Dinah.
What's to come in the next couple of years? We've talked about expansion, but we can't share on that until we're getting closer to that point.
We want to get Dinah up and running and get it going, and you know, get 2026 fully programmed for the audience. And that's our number one focus right now before we move on to any other things.
Okay. And where can I buy tickets and when for the Dinah 2026?
Yeah, tickets will be available through our Eventbrite page as well as on our website, thedinah.com. They'll be available in the next 7 days.
We're going live in 7 days. Bella and I've been working hard to get that going.
Yeah. On behalf of the Hollywood Times, congratulations to you two. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. And Terry and I are great partners as well. We're the HollywoodTimes.today, the HollywoodTimes.net, and Hollywood Times Official is our YouTube channel. And can't wait to see you again in person.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.